Have you ever wondered why the United States, a country thousands of miles away, got involved in a civil war in the small Southeast Asian country of Vietnam? Well, brace yourself as we unravel this mystery. We're diving into the depths of the Vietnam War, a conflict that spanned 2 decades from 1955 to 1975, with the United States right in the thick of it. Unveiling the causes of this war will make you rethink everything you know about international politics. Did you know that the Vietnam War was a byproduct of the Cold War between the United States and the Soviet Union? Now let's dive into the Domino Theory, a concept that played a significant role in the US's decision to step foot in Vietnam. Picture a row of dominoes. Tip the first one, and what happens? The rest follow suit, cascading down one after another. This is the essence of the Domino Theory, where one nation's fall to communism would inevitably lead to its neighbors following suit. During the Cold War, the United States and the Soviet Union were locked in a tense rivalry. Each sought to spread its influence worldwide, with the US promoting capitalism and democracy, while the Soviets championed communism. The Domino Theory emerged from this context, suggesting that the spread of communism in one nation could trigger a chain reaction in neighboring countries, particularly in vulnerable regions such as Southeast Asia. The theory was first proposed by President Eisenhower in 1954 during a news conference. He suggested that if one country fell to communism, its neighbors might too, just as a line of dominoes falls. This idea quickly became a cornerstone of the United States foreign policy. This theory convinced the United States that it was their duty to halt the spread of communism at all costs. It led to the belief that the United States' interests would be threatened if communism spread throughout Southeast Asia. This fear was so strong that it led the United States to intervene in Vietnam's internal affairs, setting the stage for the brutal and protracted Vietnam War. The Domino Theory demonstrates the power of perception in shaping international relations. It shows us how fear and the anticipation of potential threats can drive nations to make decisions that have far-reaching and often devastating consequences. The fear of the domino effect was so profound, it led the United States to engage in a war far from its shores. This fear, combined with other geopolitical factors, would go on to shape the course of history, leading to a conflict that would claim millions of lives and leave a lasting impact on the world. A single incident can change the course of history, and the Gulf of Tonkin incident did just that. Now let's travel back to the hot and humid August of 1964. Picture this. 2 US destroyers, the USS Maddox and the USS Turner Joy, were patrolling the waters of the Gulf of Tonkin. Suddenly, they reported being under attack by North Vietnamese vessels. The initial report suggested that the Maddox had been fired upon by 3 North Vietnamese Navy torpedo boats. The Maddox responded with fire, and with the help of aircraft from the USS Ticonderoga, claimed to have damaged or sunk 2 of the attacking boats. 2 days later, both the Maddox and Turner Joy reported a second attack, but this time the details were shrouded in a fog of confusion and uncertainty. Now here's the twist. Later investigations suggested that the second attack might not have happened at all. It's speculated that the radar blips might have been misinterpreted, possibly caused by bad weather, rather than enemy fire. However, the US government, under President Lyndon B. Johnson, took these reports at face value. The incident led to the passing of the Gulf of Tonkin Resolution, which effectively gave Johnson the power to wage war against North Vietnam without a formal declaration. This incident, whether it happened as reported or was exaggerated, gave the US the green light to wage war in Vietnam. Decolonization is a fancy word, isn't it? But what does it have to do with the Vietnam War? Let's take a trip down memory lane to figure it out. The mid-20th century, decolonization, or the process of a colony gaining independence from its colonizer, was a global trend. Vietnam, colonized by the French, was no exception. By 1954, the French had withdrawn from Vietnam, marking the end of a nearly 100-year reign. But as they say, when one door closes, another opens. In Vietnam, the end of French colonial rule wasn't a straightforward path to freedom. Instead, it opened a Pandora's box of political turmoil and power struggles. The country was divided into 2, with the communist North, led by Ho Chi Minh, and the anti-communist South, under the leadership of Ngo Dinh Diem. This internal struggle wasn't just a local issue, It was like a moth to a flame, drawing in other countries. The United States, with its staunch anti-communist stance, saw the situation in the Vietnam as a threat to global democracy. The belief was that if one country fell to communism, others would follow, a concept known as the Domino Theory. With this fear propelling them, the United States stepped in to support the South, while the Soviet Union and China backed the North. The local conflict escalated into an international war, a proxy war, if you will, between the world's superpowers. So what does decolonization have to do with the Vietnam War? Everything. The power vacuum left by the French's departure set the stage for a conflict that would draw the world's attention and resources for over 2 decades. It was a struggle not just for political control, but for ideological dominance. In essence, decolonization was the spark that lit the fuse of the Vietnam War. It was the catalyst that turned a local struggle into a global conflict, a conflict that would leave an indelible mark on history. The end of French colonial rule in Vietnam did not bring peace, but instead sparked a war that would last for 2 decades. After all these revelations, what should we take away from the causes of the Vietnam War? Well, for starters, let's revisit the domino theory. It was this very idea, the fear of communism spreading like a deck of tumbling dominoes, that fueled the United States' involvement. A simple theory, but with complex implications, wouldn't you say? Next, we have the Gulf of Tonkin incident. This was the spark that lit the powder keg, pushing the US from a supportive role into full-blown military engagement. A single event, yet it changed the course of history. Lastly, we can't overlook the role of decolonization. As countries fought for their independence, the power vacuum created by departing colonial powers became a battleground for competing ideologies. The Vietnam War is a testament to the turbulence of such times. Understanding the causes of the Vietnam War helps us see the complexities of international relations and the unforeseen consequences of geopolitical strategies. So, let's keep these lessons in mind as we navigate the intricate tapestry of our world's history. Before we wrap up, we'd like to invite you to engage with history, actively participate and help us illuminate significant events. If you found this video insightful, hit the like button. Your support keeps us creating content that stirs curiosity. It's not just about watching a video, it's about learning from the past. Subscribe to our channel for more videos. Let's continue unraveling our world's history. Thank you for your time, your curiosity, and your engagement. Stay tuned for more.